المشترك من ماليزيا المهندس موسى محمود. تفضل.
Thank you. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Musa Mahmoud, and I will be a speaker together with my colleague Aziz Hassan. And today we will talk about what do we have to offer from Malaysia. And our concept of connecting to the rest of the world a group called Malaysia. And under this consolidated list, we actually gather time and our aim to reach the world and to collaborate on both sides, to bring activities in Malaysia, as well as to offer our expertise and experience together with finance to the rest of the world. We make countries. Malaysia, which is our collaboration with the European Union, that we will be the first country outside Europe to produce green hydrogen in collaboration with the European Union. And this green hydrogen Malaysia will be, the presentation will be done by Mr. Aziz Hassan. Please continue.
Hello everybody. Thank you for inviting us to this esteemed conference. So we would like to talk about the Malaysian perspective of hydrogen energy transition. As we all know, that the world is actually moving towards a big energy transition, where we're moving away from pure fossil fuels into a world where we have renewable electricity, and we have hydrogen. So, European Union has actually passed one law of Fit for 55 last year, which is actually quite pioneering, where it entails that all vehicles that will be produced or that to travel to Europe by 2035 must be powered only by two energies, which is electricity and hydrogen. So we are together with the European Union Sustainable Project Group, an entity which is linked to the European Commission. So under this entity, the European Hydrogen Bank. So under this hydrogen bank in Switzerland, bank will have two trust funds, which is one for government transition. So one is for government transition and the other one is for commercial. So what this means is that because the reason why they do this is because I understand that if they want to transition into a hydrogen and electric future, they cannot do that alone. Because the world is very globalized right now and not interconnected. So because of that, they need to create an infrastructure bank globally. So by making all of these funds, and to help governments like in Morocco, in Malaysia, in Indonesia, and everywhere around the world to actually expand the hydrogen infrastructure all over, they can actually help Europe and help as well as the rest of the world to actually promote this, further this agenda. So next. So as I said, the global energy transition will be in renewable electricity and hydrogen. So all of these two combined will be powering our cities, our industries, our transport, our agriculture, our households. Next. So for those who don't know, there are many things. Hydrogen is energy carrier. Just like electricity is an energy carrier, it is not an energy source, which means it needs to be produced. So it needs to run through some processes before it can be in that safe form. So for hydrogen, in terms of hydrogen, we have labels for it. Just like we have halal certification, kosher certification, the process of all of these things will also be labeled as blue, green, gray, black, brown, and etc. Depends on what source this hydrogen actually comes from. So if it comes from natural gas or biomass, or methane and all of that, it is called blue hydrogen, provided that through the process of steam methane reforming, the carbon is then captured. If not, it is called grey hydrogen. Now, of course, the ideal case for all is green hydrogen, but not everywhere in the world, in our current state, can actually produce green hydrogen. And green hydrogen requires renewable, like the surplus of renewable electricity. So an example would be like in Malaysia's case, in the state of Sarawak, where the population density is quite low, and they have a lot of mountainous areas, and we are a tropical country which has a lot of rain, excess rain. So because of that, the state government with the federal government has actually created a lot of dams. And from these dams, Sarawak has actually created surplus electricity, which is then used not only for industry, but it has enough access to actually make green hydrogen, which is now being exported to Japan and Korea. The next. So these are the difference between blue and green hydrogen. So we cannot say that we should only go for green hydrogen, because blue hydrogen has its place also. When you talk about especially in like countries like Malaysia and Indonesia, where we have big plantations, which then emit methane and all that. Once you collect all of this methane, you can actually process it into blue hydrogen. So in that sense, instead of it just being released out into the atmosphere, we can actually create an industry of creating hydrogen from this. So green hydrogen, I have already explained, it comes from renewable electricity. So it can be from dams in Malaysia's case, and in solar in small cases. This is where forested, it is not actually advisable to chop down trees to actually put solar panels, which then create this. So because of that, we have like a mix of both, because we have the excess methane and we have the sources of green hydrogen. So this chart over here actually shows the flow from the upstream all the way to midstream and the downstream. So the activities on where the hydrogen actually comes from and where does it actually go. Next. So some people might debate that, which one is better, hydrogen or electricity? It's not a question of better, it is a question of they both complement each other, because both of these are actually meant for, they complement each other in a way where the things that electricity is better, there are certain things that electricity is better, and there are certain things which hydrogen does better. For example, in industries, which is some industries which are hard to abate sectors, such as high heat processes and things like that, you cannot use electricity. There's not enough electricity to actually produce that amount of heat. You need something to burn. But since you do not want to burn your fossil fuels anymore, or coal and etc., one of the substitutes is actually hydrogen. And in transportation, for example, like in this chart, you can see that you can use both. There are certain areas which they do overlap in terms of electricity and hydrogen. So in electricity case, for transportation such as your cars, your motorbikes, and your etc. like that, it would be, I would say, an ideal case, but it is not for everyone. Hydrogen has its advantages, being that you can refill your car faster, and at current times it actually goes further. And for places or for people who live in apartments, for example, who don't have access to charging ports, like the whole night and things like that, because battery electric vehicles actually take quite a long time to charge. Take 12 hours, the fastest maybe 30 minutes, and all of that, but that corresponds to the price of the vehicle and etc. So in these cases, a hydrogen car is actually better for, say, consumers. So they have their own customer segments of who prefers hydrogen and who prefer electric vehicles. In terms of shipping, you would actually prefer hydrogen, because that is really the only way, because weight is an issue in airlines and in ships, because you cannot carry a giant battery. There's just dead weight that doesn't decrease as the vehicle goes. So because of that, this is where hydrogen actually is better compared with electricity. And in buildings and cities, of course, electricity is the winner for most things. Next. So the demand for hydrogen, like I said, is for power generation, mobility, transport, industry and manufacturing. So these are just some of the examples of where where the hydrogen is actually going once it's produced within the demands. So this is the hydrogen value chain, as the previous chart also showed. So from the production, so the production, the storage, the transport, the local infrastructure. So all of the upstream, midstream, and downstream activities, all the distribution networks, all this infrastructure is to be made. So in Malaysia, we have an opportunity to become a hub for this region, as we are strategically located in the South China Sea and also the Straits of Malacca, in between the two big powers of India and China, and access also to Europe and Oceania, in Australia, and etc. So because of that, in Malaysia we also have abundant, like I said before, abundant electricity in the form of water